Welcome to KP Tours. I'm Kelly, and I'll be your guide on an enlightening journey through the African American history of the U.S. Capitol. In this tour, you'll discover the stories of the first 22 African American men who served as congressmen and senators, paving the way for future generations. We'll begin by meeting Hiram Revels, the first African American senator, whose trailblazing service opened doors for many others. Then, we'll hear from Joseph Rainey, the first African American to serve in the House of Representatives, sharing his experiences and contributions. We'll also delve into the history of Philip Reid, an African American craftsman who played a crucial role in casting the Statue of Freedom that crowns the Capitol dome. Additionally, we'll explore the life of John Stuart Rock, one of the first African Americans admitted to practice before the Supreme Court, and his significant impact on the judiciary. Along the way, you'll learn about the roles and responsibilities of the Senate and the House of Representatives, providing context to the legislative process and the contributions of these remarkable individuals. Join us for a captivating tour where history comes alive, and we celebrate the enduring legacy of African American leaders at the heart of our nation's government. I would introduce you the inspiring life of Hiram Rhodes Revels, a trailblazer whose legacy is deeply intertwined with the history of African American history and Congress. Born free on September 27, 1827, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Revels was a man of many firsts. He broke barriers and set precedents as the first African American to serve in the United States Congress. Hiram Revels' path to prominence was marked by his unwavering dedication to education, faith, and civil rights. He pursued his studies in Indiana and Illinois, where he was ordained as a minister in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Revels' commitment to uplifting his community was evident as he served as a pastor and educator, advocating for the educational and spiritual growth of African Americans during a time of intense racial discrimination. He was one of the few men of African descent to have a college degree in the 1850s. During the Civil War, Revels played a crucial role as a chaplain for the Union Army, organizing regiments of African American soldiers and tirelessly working to improve conditions for freemen. His leadership and courage in these tumultuous times were a testament to his deep sense of duty and justice. In 1870, Hiram Revels made history when he was elected as the first African American senator, representing the state of Mississippi. His election to the U.S. Senate was a monumental achievement, occurring just 5 years after the Civil War and the abolition of slavery. Revels' presence in Congress symbolized a significant shift in American politics, representing hope and progress for millions of African Americans. During his tenure, Revels focused on advocating for civil rights, education, and equality. He worked diligently to reintegrate Confederate states into the Union and to ensure fair treatment for all citizens, regardless of race. His eloquent speeches and thoughtful legislation aimed to bridge the deep divisions within the country and promote a vision of unity and justice. Hiram Revels' legacy extends far beyond his time in the Senate. He continued to serve his community as the president of Alcorn State University, where he dedicated himself to the education and empowerment of African American youth. Revels' life and career stand as a beacon of perseverance, resilience, and dedication to the principles of equality and justice. As we reflect on the African American history of the Capitol, let us honor Hiram Rhodes Revels, a pioneer who paved the way for future generations and left an indelible mark on the history of our nation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hiram Revels, and I'm very excited to talk to you today. Let me tell you a little bit about my life. I was born a long time ago, in 1827, in a place called North Carolina. When I was your age, the world was very different. There were many unfair rules, especially for people like me with dark skin. But I believed that everyone should have the chance to learn and be treated fairly. When I was growing up, I worked very hard to go to school, even when it wasn't easy. I loved reading and learning new things. Later, I became a teacher and then a preacher, which means I gave sermons and helped people in church. During a very big war in America called the Civil War, I helped soldiers as a chaplain. My job was to give them hope and support, which was very important because wars are very tough times. After the war, I moved to Mississippi, where I helped build schools and churches. I wanted to make sure that everyone had the chance to learn and grow. The people in Mississippi thought I was doing a good job, so they chose me to go to Washington, D.C. to be a senator. This was a big honor because I was the first African American. to ever be a senator in the United States. As a senator, I worked hard to make sure that everyone, no matter their skin color, was treated fairly and had the same opportunities. I wanted to make a difference and help build a better future for everyone. So remember, no matter where you come from or what you look like, you can make a big difference if you work hard and believe in yourself. Thank you for listening to my story.
I would like to introduce Joseph Rainey, the first African American to serve in the United States House of Representatives. Born into slavery on June 21, 1832, in Georgetown, South Carolina, Rainey's journey from enslavement to political leadership is a powerful testament to his resilience and dedication to justice. After gaining his freedom, Rainey became a successful businessman, but his commitment to civil rights and equality drew him into the political arena during Reconstruction. In 1870, he was elected to represent South Carolina's 1st congressional district, making history as the first African American congressman. During his time in Congress, Rainey was a steadfast advocate for civil rights, education, and economic opportunities for all Americans, particularly the newly emancipated African Americans. His eloquent speeches and tireless efforts helped to shape the policies of Reconstruction, aiming to build a more just and equitable society. Joseph Rainey's legacy as a trailblazer in American politics continues to inspire us. As we explore the African American history of the Capitol, let us remember and celebrate the life and contributions of Joseph Rainey, a true pioneer in the fight for equality and justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to address you today as Joseph Rainey, a proud pioneer for African Americans in the U.S. House of Representatives. Born into the bonds of enslavement, I overcame immense adversity to serve our great nation and represent the interests of all its citizens. As the first African American seated in the House, I broke barriers that many thought insurmountable. My journey was not merely a personal triumph, but a victory for all African Americans striving for equality and representation in government. During my tenure, I was a staunch advocate for civil rights legislation, fervently pressing for the protection and advancement of African Americans, Native Americans, and Chinese immigrants. My dedication to civil rights was unwavering, and I took great pride in my contributions to key legislative debates. One of my most significant achievements was my impassioned speech in favor of the Ku Klux Klan Act, a vital piece of legislation aimed at safeguarding the rights and safety of African Americans during the turbulent Reconstruction era. This act was essential in our fight against the heinous acts of violence and intimidation perpetrated by white supremacists. I also championed the broader concept of human rights, which encompassed civil, political, and economic rights for all people. This belief was at the heart of my legislative efforts and speeches, as I sought to ensure that every individual, regardless of race or background, could enjoy the full benefits of citizenship. My time in Congress was not without its challenges. Discrimination and violence were constant threats, and white supremacists used illegal tactics to try to force my colleagues and me out of office. Yet, despite these formidable obstacles, I remained resilient and determined to serve my constituents and the nation to the best of my ability. While we achieved significant progress, my tenure also saw setbacks due to the rise of white supremacy during the post-Civil War Reconstruction era. These challenges remind us that the fight for equality and justice is ongoing and requires our continued vigilance and effort. As I reflect on my time in office, I see it as a period of profound progress and resilience. My legacy, I hope, continues to inspire future generations of politicians and civil rights advocates to persevere in the face of adversity and to strive for a more just and equitable society for all. Thank you.
I would like to introduce you to Benjamin Banneker. Born on November 9, 1731 in Maryland, Banneker was a self-taught polymath whose talents spanned astronomy, mathematics, and surveying. Despite the barriers imposed by his time, Banneker's intellectual prowess and determination led him to make significant contributions to the development of the United States, particularly the capital city, Washington, D.C. As a free African American in the 18th century, Banneker's life was a testament to resilience and brilliance. He was born to a free African American mother and a formerly enslaved father, inheriting a legacy of freedom that he would use to impact the world around him. Banneker's early interest in science and mathematics was evident when, at the age of 22, he built a strikingly accurate wooden clock based on a borrowed pocket watch. This clock would run for over 40 years, a symbol of his ingenuity and meticulous craftsmanship. However, Banneker's most notable achievement was his involvement in the survey of the land that would become the nation's capital. In 1791, appointed by President George Washington, Banneker worked alongside Major Andrew Ellicott and his team to define the boundaries of the District of Columbia. His knowledge of astronomy was instrumental in the process, and his precise calculations ensured the successful completion of this monumental task. Beyond his technical contributions, Banneker was also an ardent advocate for social justice and equality. He corresponded with Thomas Jefferson, then Secretary of State, challenging the hypocrisy of a nation that proclaimed liberty yet practiced slavery. Banneker's eloquent letters and almanacs, which included astronomical calculations, weather predictions, and anti-slavery essays, demonstrated his commitment to intellectual and social advancement. Benjamin Banneker's legacy is etched into the fabric of Washington, D.C. His work not only laid the groundwork for the city we know today, but also set a powerful example of what can be achieved through knowledge, perseverance, and a dedication to justice. As we explore the African-American history of the Capitol, let us remember and honor the life and contributions of Benjamin Banneker, a true pioneer and visionary.
As Benjamin Banneker, a notable African-American almanac author, surveyor, naturalist, and farmer of the 18th century, I would consider my most significant accomplishments to be my contributions to the surveying of the Federal District, now known as Washington, D.C., and my authorship of a series of almanacs. My involvement in surveying the Federal District was a testament to my skills and knowledge in astronomy and mathematics. Appointed by George Washington, I worked alongside Major Andrew Ellicott in laying out the city. My role was crucial, especially when I recreated the complete set of plans after Ellicott's dismissal, ensuring the project's continuity. However, my almanacs are perhaps what I am most remembered for. Published annually between 1792 and 1802, these almanacs contained astronomical calculations, tide tables, medicinal formulas, and commentary on race and slavery. They were significant not only for their utility, but also for their intellectual challenge to the institution of slavery and the perception of African Americans' abilities. In one notable instance, I penned a series of letters to Thomas Jefferson, then Secretary of State, critiquing his views on race and urging the abolition of slavery. These letters, along with my almanacs, were widely circulated and stood as a testament to the intellectual capabilities and contributions of African Americans. These achievements, among others, are what I would consider my most important. They reflect not only my personal skills and dedication, but also a broader challenge to the racial prejudices and limitations of my time.
Today, we'd uncover a lesser-known yet profoundly significant chapter in the history of Capitol, the story of the African-American men, many of whom were enslaved, who played a crucial role in constructing the United States Capitol building. These men labored tirelessly, working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, under grueling conditions, and yet they were not paid for their immense contributions. From 1793, when the construction of the Capitol began, enslaved African Americans were integral to its development. Their skills and labor were indispensable in the arduous tasks of quarrying stone, molding bricks, sawing timber, and performing the heavy lifting required to build this iconic structure. Despite the backbreaking labor and the lack of compensation, these men exhibited extraordinary craftsmanship and resilience. Their work laid the foundation for a building that stands as a symbol of democracy and freedom. However, the irony of their situation cannot be overlooked. While they toiled to construct a seat of government that espoused liberty and justice, they themselves were denied those very rights. As we walk through the halls of the Capitol, let us remember the enslaved African American men whose hands built its walls. Their contributions, though often unrecognized, are etched into the very fabric of this nation's history. Their story is a poignant reminder of the strength and perseverance that underlie the Capitol's grandeur. Today, we honor and pay tribute to these unsung heroes who helped shape the United States Capitol, a cornerstone of American democracy.
The history of African Americans' involvement in building the United States Capitol is both significant and poignant. African American labor, both enslaved and free, was crucial to the construction of the Capitol. The decision to build the Capitol was made in the late 18th century, with construction beginning in 1793. Enslaved African Americans, hired out by their owners, were integral to this work. They were employed in various capacities as brickmakers, carpenters, and laborers who cut the timber, laid the stones, and worked the quarries. It's important to note that while records indicate the use of paid labor, a significant portion of the labor force consisted of enslaved individuals. One poignant aspect of this history is that while enslaved laborers were building the Capitol, which symbolized liberty and democracy, they themselves were denied these very rights. This stark contrast underscores the profound injustices that marked the early years of the United States. The contributions of these African Americans were unrecognized for a long time in official histories. However, recent efforts have sought to acknowledge and honor their vital role. For example, a marker was unveiled in 2012 in Emancipation Hall, itself named to recognize the contributions of enslaved people, at the U.S.Capitol Visitor Center, which acknowledges the work of enslaved laborers in the construction of the Capitol. This history not only highlights the contradictions in American history, but also serves as a testament to the resilience and enduring spirit of African Americans, who played a crucial role in building foundational structures of the nation, often without acknowledgement or justice.
Today, we shine a spotlight on Philip Reid, a man whose remarkable skill and perseverance played a pivotal role in creating one of the most iconic symbols atop the United States Capitol, the Statue of Freedom. Born into slavery around 1820, Philip Reid's journey from bondage to a place of historical significance is a testament to his extraordinary talent and determination. Reid was owned by Clark Mills, a prominent sculptor and foundry owner in Washington, D.C. Despite his status as an enslaved person, Reid became an essential figure in Mills' foundry, known for his exceptional craftsmanship and expertise in bronze casting. His defining moment came during the casting of the Statue of Freedom, a colossal bronze statue that now crowns the Capitol dome. In 1860, as the statue's construction was underway, an unexpected challenge arose. The model for the statue, created by sculptor Thomas Crawford, was disassembled into 5 large sections for casting. However, the process of separating the plaster model's mold pieces proved difficult. It was Philip Reid who ingeniously solved the problem by determining how to safely disassemble the mold, ensuring the successful casting of the statue. Reid's role did not end there. He oversaw the intricate and labor-intensive process of casting the 19.5-foot, 15,000-pound statue, working tirelessly to ensure each piece was perfectly crafted. His expertise and leadership were crucial in bringing the statue to completion, making him an indispensable figure in this monumental project. In 1862, during the height of the Civil War, and shortly after the District of Columbia Emancipation Act was passed, Philip Reid gained his freedom. Despite the profound injustice of his enslavement, Reid's legacy is cemented in the very fabric of the Capitol. Philip Reid's story is a powerful reminder of the contributions of African Americans to the nation's history, often in the face of great adversity. As we look upon the Statue of Freedom atop the Capitol dome, let us remember and honor Philip Reid, whose skill and determination helped bring this symbol of liberty and democracy to life.
I'm Philip Reid, and I'm the guy who helped cast the statue that sits on top of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Let me tell you a bit about my life. I was born as an enslaved person, which means I didn't have freedom like you do. But I was skilled with working with metals, and that's how I got involved with casting big statues. One day, the government asked for someone to help make a statue for the Capitol. Even though I was enslaved, I had the skills they needed. The statue they wanted to cast was called the Statue of Freedom. It's a lady with a helmet and a sword, standing tall. It represents the freedom that our country stands for. I worked hard with others to make sure every detail was just right. One of the biggest moments of my life was when we finally lifted that statue up to the very top of the Capitol dome. It was a proud moment because I knew I had helped make something important for our nation. After that, I became a free man, and I kept working with metal for the rest of my life. Now, whenever you see the Capitol building, you can remember me, Philip Reid, and know that I helped put that beautiful Statue of Freedom up there for everyone to see.
I would like to introduce you to John Stewart Rock. Born October 13, 1825, died December 3, 1866, was a remarkable figure in American history. He was an accomplished teacher, doctor, dentist, lawyer, and abolitionist. Born to free African-American parents in Salem, New Jersey, Rock faced significant racial barriers but persevered to achieve numerous milestones. Rock initially worked as a teacher while studying medicine under two physicians. Despite being rejected by medical schools due to his race, he became a skilled dentist and later earned a medical degree from the American Medical College in Philadelphia in 1821. He was one of the first African Americans to achieve this feat. In addition to his medical and dental practices, Rock was a passionate abolitionist and civil rights advocate. He is historically associated with the phrase "black is beautiful," although records suggest he never used the exact phrase. Rock was also the first African American admitted to the bar of the Supreme Court of the United States. Rock's contributions to medicine, law, and the fight for racial equality left a lasting impact on American society. His dedication and achievements continue to inspire many.
As John Stuart Rock, reflecting on my life and accomplishments fills me with both pride and a profound sense of purpose. Born in 1825 to free African-American parents in Salem, New Jersey, I embarked on a journey that would not only shape my own destiny, but also leave a lasting impact on the struggle for civil rights in America. My legal career began with a fervent determination to challenge the systemic injustices faced by African Americans. Becoming the first black person admitted to argue cases before the Supreme Court of the United States in 1865 was not just a personal achievement, but a pivotal moment in our nation's history. It signaled that African Americans could and should have a voice in the highest echelons of our legal system. Throughout my career, I tirelessly advocated for civil rights, fighting against racial discrimination in all its forms. Whether it was challenging segregation, advocating for voting rights, or promoting equal access to education, I believed deeply in the principles of justice and equality under the law. Education was another cornerstone of my efforts. I understood that knowledge was power, and I worked to ensure that African Americans had access to the education necessary for their advancement and empowerment. This belief in the transformative power of education drove many of my endeavors and remains a central part of my legacy. My life's work was not without its challenges and setbacks. I faced prejudice and resistance at every turn. Yet, through perseverance and a steadfast commitment to justice, I was able to make meaningful strides toward a more equitable society. Today, I am honored to see how my efforts have inspired future generations of African American lawyers, activists, and leaders. My hope is that my story serves as a reminder of what can be achieved through courage, determination, and a belief in the inherent dignity and rights of every individual. Though my time on this earth has passed, my legacy continues to live on in the ongoing struggle for civil rights and social justice. As we look toward the future, may we continue to strive for a society where all people are treated with fairness, dignity, and respect under the law.
This is the end of part 1 of the African American history of the United States Capitol. I hope you enjoyed the information. We are located in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. has a rich and interesting history. Please join us when you are in Washington, D.C. If you liked the video, please subscribe.